Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. What I'm going to talk about are phonograph cranks. So what happens if you buy a phonograph and you don't have the crank? That's the hard question. Say I have this Victor or I have this Columbia or whatever. When you want to find the crank, you need to know this length right here on the top. Crank comes down, bends down, here's the handle, we crank up the phonograph. But this is the length you need to know. And how do I find this out? Well, right here we have different size Victor cranks. And you can see short one, medium one, long one. So you don't want the long one because the long one will be sticking out like this.
But it would work.
It'd work. So to do this, there's two ways. You can lift the motor board up and the crank goes in right here. It screws into here. So if you lift the motor board up, you can take a dowel and you can stick it in here and you can look down the side and go about where my thumb is. See this? Now it's going to clear everything. And then you go, okay, this is the length I need. Roughly that length. So you say, I'll add about an inch more to it because this screws in. And you go, okay, that's the length I need. Now, if you don't want to take the motor board out and hit where it screws into the motor, there's a thing on the side of the machine called an escutcheon. And this is where the crank goes in. So you take the escutcheon off, which has 2 screws, or an Edison has 3, and you take this off, and with a flashlight, you look in the hole, and you'll see the motor, and you go click, and you go, yeah, I need 2 inches coming off the cabinet. So there's your length.
Why can't you do it with the escutcheon on?
You can, but it's hard to see where the hookup is on the motor. It's hard to see where the female threads are, where the crank comes in and it screws in. And then you go, okay, I have to look for a crank. Well, there's suppliers like the phonographshop.com, and you say, I need a Victor 11 crank, but I need the top edge, this piece here, so many inches. I'm not giving inches because they all come in different sizes. Or you look on eBay and you say, hey, oh, there's one. Guy says Victor 11. You go, what is it from the bend to the threads? And that's,
is it male end or is it female end?
Right, if it's male end or female end. And this is how you find the crank that fits. Because I've seen phonographs and you'll see the scratch mark right in here, this round circle right here. And somebody changed out the crank and the crank is hitting the side of the cabinet. But you always have to clear this woodwork here on the side. You know, this is a lot of fun. There's things that people don't think about. How do I get a crank and what's the length? And that's my tip for the day.